So my friends, this is the Dangbei MP1 Max, and it is a quite impressive 4K projector that does this in a light room and this in a dark room. So is it right for you? Let's take a closer look. Don't forget to hit the red button to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up and click the notification bell to get my next video first. Now, I've looked at a number of Dangbei products over the last couple of years, but this is one of the ones I've been most excited about. I love the fact that it comes in this protective case and everything that you need is packed away neatly inside. And I really feel that this is almost the perfect balance between value for money and performance. Right, connectivity. Well, connectivity on the back, there are two HDMI ports. One of these doubles up as an eARC port. There's also a USB Type A and an audio out. The design of this thing is stunning. It really looks stealth-like and very sleek. On the bottom of the projector is a turntable, which makes spinning this round 360 degrees completely effortless. You get 135 degrees of vertical tilt. Now this means you can project this almost anywhere. The remote control is absolutely fine. Sadly, it's not backlit, but it does have quick access buttons to YouTube, Netflix, and Prime Video. And on the side, there's also two buttons for focus and accessing keystone correction. So if you do need to set this projector up in a hurry, then you can quickly access it from those buttons, which is a nice touch. Portability wise, well, the fact that you've got that turntable and the fact that you've got the 135 degrees of tilt means that you can position this almost anywhere. And with the auto keystone correction and manual keystone correction, you can be off at an angle no problem. Right, let's fire this thing up and see what it looks like. Well, this is daylight conditions for viewing, and the 3100 lumens is really packing a punch. And in this super bright room, with the lights on as well, it is really impressively bright on the screen. And one of the reasons why I thought that this represented the ideal balance between performance and value is the fact that the price point that this is set at, it is delivering a far brighter image than many other projectors. And if you look at this next clip, you can see all three conditions: a light room at the top, a medium lit room with lights on the left, and a dark room on the right. And all three look great. Okay, so now I've waited till later in the day and it is now dark outside. I've got a couple of ambient lights on behind me and the light underneath the surface that you can see, the bluey type light. And this is really throwing out an absolutely brilliant picture. Now, I do have to say that this looked really impressive for most scenes, but there was this scene where the pinks were just a little bit too pink. It almost edged too much towards red. So I did have to then dial that back a little bit. But once that was done in the settings, which is easy to do, I was getting a fantastic picture. And this is almost perfect to what the actual footage looked like when I took it straight out of the camera. I think the main differences are that the fact that it's naturally slightly oversaturated, but again, that's very easy to just dial back slightly. And depending on what setting you have it on, I had it on movie mode, then you can choose between the different settings, which hopefully will get you the exact picture that you're looking for. So this projector supports HDR10+, HDR10 and HLG, and it's 110% of the BT 2020 color gamut. The color accuracy is reported to be having a delta error of under 1. However, mine was slightly above that at around 2.2, but that's well within the tolerance which would be accepted. But overall, you are getting a really sharp, very impressive image. In my focus test, all four corners were super sharp. There were no areas where there was any weakness noticeable on the screen. And when I ran my plain colors test, all of the light was distributed perfectly evenly. There was no dark areas on any edges of the screen. When it comes to fan noise, this projector is one of the quietest on the market. Before turning the projector on, I was getting a room reading of around 21. Then I turned it on and it went through its autofocus where it peaked to around 32. But after that, it settled down and then I was getting a consistent reading between 24 and 25, with the odd occasional peak to 26. So this is really super quiet, one of the best around. The operating system is Google TV, as most projectors this year that we've reviewed have been. The pleasing news is that it has got a great processor in it because there is no delay in going between the screens. I looked at a Nebula one recently and it was painful how slow everything took, but this is super fast. In order to get you the best possible picture no matter where you put the projector, this has Dangbei's Instant Pro AI image setup. And this basically features auto keystone correction, manual keystone correction, auto screen fit, obstacle avoidance, eye protection, real-time keystone correction on the go, so as you move the projector it will adjust automatically, and also AI brightness adjustment if you want that. But I found that it all worked really well. There's plenty of menu options as well. There's MEMC, so it's got frame interpolation if you want to do that. I tend to set mine to low, and I think that's the best of both worlds. Now, for you gamers out there, this hasn't got the fastest refresh rate, whereas some on the market now are down to as low as 1 millisecond to 15 milliseconds, which I think is about the perfect balance. This was getting me a reading of 30 to 35 milliseconds at 4K at 60 Hz. So it's great for occasional gaming or casual gaming, but if you're looking at anything more professional, then you need to probably consider another option. But in terms of brightness and lightness, as you can tell, it looks super great on this 100-inch screen. And so therefore, I absolutely love playing games on a huge screen. It is just so immersive, and with the sound, which I'll come on to right next, it does feel really good. The Projector does have two 12-watt speakers, which again is an upgrade on many out there at the moment, but I still think that if you are serious about having this as a dedicated home theatre, then you need to get a second option. You can output to a soundbar if you want to, or you can use the eARC port in order to get full surround sound. This is an example of 50% volume from 1.5 meters. This has a fixed 1.2 to 1 throw ratio, so from 1.7 meters you'll get a 40-inch screen, 2.7 meters you'll get a 100-inch screen, and if you want a 300-inch screen, well then you need to be 8 meters away. Here are some of the other main features and highlights for this projector. So the two 12-watt speakers did work really well. The 40 to 300-inch screen, well, so that should fit for most people. I definitely recommend that at 300 inches you definitely lose a lot of detail, and so therefore I would keep this down to probably 120, 130 to be the optimum size. The brightness is impressive. Now it says it's up to 3100 ISO lumens, but that is in an unusable mode. In movie mode where I was getting a reading of late 1000, so 1950, 1960, and that was perfectly fine, but you saw how bright it was in the images. The Instant Pro feature is great for those of you that want this off at an angle, and then they can utilize the auto keystone and screen fit for your particular location. And it's got the two connections, which is about right and the minimum that I would expect for this price point. So my friends, in summary, I really do believe that the Dangbei MP1 Max represents fantastic value. The build quality and the look of this projector is just beautiful. The fact that it's got the built-in gimbal and the fact you can project it almost anywhere with the smart technology built in means that it can sit on any shelf and pretty much go into any theatre. Having Google TV negates the need for anything to be plugged in, but you've got all of the apps there. And it also works in pretty much any light condition. But what you are getting from this is a vibrant colour, super brightness, and delivering a crisp image. So it might not be the best projector at everything, but it's certainly not the worst, and it does everything pretty well indeed. So this is a great all-rounder, a great entertainment projector, and definitely one you should consider if you're in this price budget. Guys, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If there's any questions, leave them in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them, and check out the link in the description which will take you directly to this projector.